Another anniversary review. There's a lot of anniversaries lately coming up, around this time. So I'm getting into this anniversary review thing. It gives me a chance to listen to older music to see how it stands the test of time. So anyway, Metallica, the biggie, released Load on 4th June 1996, 25 years ago. I remember buying this in HMV on release date. There was a little bit of hype about it, with Metallica changing styles and etc. And I remember the lead single was released, Until It Sleeps, and I quite liked it. I mean, I thought it was okay. So I don't know. I was like not as unhappy as some with the lead single and the supposed change of styles to a more sort of like rock sound, if you like, a rock-talica, not Metallica. But anyway, so I've listened to this all again, all 79 minutes of this album I listened to again for the purposes of this video. Yes, I'm a glutton for punishment. So when I first got this, I would have given this a rating of around, I think around a 7 out of 10. Maybe, which is probably more than most Metallica fans would have given it at that time. Maybe I was being kind, or I don't know. I was just more, I don't know, my younger self would have been more accepting. I don't know. That's how I remember it. Something like that. I remember not hating this. But anyway, I listened again for the purposes of this 25th anniversary. I haven't listened to the album in probably 24 years. I listened to it for quite a lot in the first year, and then it gets canned. So I haven't listened to this for a long time. But some of the songs are sort of, ingrained in my memory, so I have a knowledge for them. But some of the other ones were quite fresh, so I haven't listened to them for 24 years. So anyway, let's get on with this. I'm going to quickly go through each song. I don't want a video to be too long, and there's a lot of songs on this. There's 14 songs, so if I talk 30 seconds a song, that should be okay. So track 1, Ain't My Bitch. This was quite a good start. It sounded groovy. I quite like the opening riff and one or two of the riffs in the middle. It sounds a little bit better than I remember it, actually, Ain't My Bitch. So I rated this one at 7 out of 10. Track 2 is 2x4. I didn't like this before, when I originally heard it, and not much has changed. I still didn't like it. It's like a fairly boring, pedestrian, groove-based song, It just plods along. Not much of a chorus. Unexciting song. 5 out of 10. Track 3, The House Jack Built. I remember this as being one of my favourites. Like when it initially came out, it was slow, but it had sort of like a good brooding atmosphere and a good build in the chorus, which I quite like. I mean, this one reminded me of Alice in Chains, right? This on this time listening, not the initial time. I probably didn't really know Alice in Chains at that point, but now when I listen to it, it reminded me of them. The chorus is quite cool. I quite like this song on the chorus, but it needs a little bit of editing. It's a little bit long. So I gave this one a 6.5 out of 10. Track 4 is Until It Sleeps, the lead single. Typical of the album. It's got a nice slow melodic groove. I quite like this song, really. I still liked it even this time. It's like a chill out Metallica, It never gets heavy or stompy or metallic. It's got a good little vocal melody from James Hetfield. It's a nice song. I quite like Until It Sleeps. So I gave that one 7.5 out of 10. Track 5 is King Nothing. It's just another typical mid-tempo groove fest. I guess this is the album's tribute to Enter Sandman, because it's got that little Enter Sandman refrain right at the end. the chorus is okay, the build up to it, but the general vibe of King Nothing is boring. Nothing really exciting happens. And 25 years on, it's still nothing exciting happens. So still only a 5 out of 10. Track 6 is Hero of the Day. It's like a slow acoustic start. It's got a pace pickup, and somehow gets quite heavy towards the end. The melody is quite nice. I don't mind this track. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Track 7 is Bleeding Me. It's the second longest song on the album. It's another slow build. It's a brooding song. This one is quite a slog because of the length. 8 minutes of a dirgy, slow song. It can be quite tough. Chorus is kind of okay, but it's a bit joyless. It's quite miserable. I mean, because they don't rock out, they don't go Metallica at all. But it just grinds on and on. The end solo is pretty cool from Kirk Hammett. It's not a bad end solo, but the song itself is just slow and meandering. I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. I actually might have liked this one before in the past, but 25 years on, it didn't float my boat. Track 8 is Cure. Here we go, another slow mid-tempo groove riff. Run out of ideas. Yeah, looks like it. Poor song, goes nowhere. It's just the same steady groove riffs. The solo is quite nice at the end by Kirk. It's not bad, but the song itself is not my cup of tea. I gave it a generous 5 out of 10. Track 9 is Poor Twisted Me. Another dirgy number. Slow and miserable. I didn't like this one at all. I had to give it even slightly less, 4 out of 10. Track 10 is Wasting My Hate. It's a little upbeat, at least this one. Not more misery and not more slow, dirgy riffs. It's still not a great song by any means. It's got an okay vibe. It's got an okay melody. It's not bad. I mean, it's decent, but even having said that, I can't really give it a high rating, so just a 5.5 out of 10. Track 11 is Mama Said. This gets a lot of heat from the Metallica fans. It's a country music ballad basically. I actually didn't hate this on this listen. I thought this was quite cool. I mean, I take that it's sort of not what Metallica should be doing, but they do ballads, they do acoustic ballads, and this one doesn't have much guitar in it at all, but the actual feel and the melody, the lyrics are cool. It's sort of heartfelt, it's emotional. His voice sounds really good on this. I mean, he could have, at this point his voice was good. I mean, he was a good singer at this point, Hetfield. I'm not sure he's that good now. He's sort of become a bit old and his voice is not as clean, not as melodic now. I mean, he has his time, he has his moments, but I don't know. I thought this was quite good. I mean, this is a nice ballad, but my rating is not that high, so it's still only a 6 out of 10, but it was okay this time round. I don't know. I thought it was okay. Track 12 is Thorn Within. Yes, this is a very typical dirgy riffs to start. Heavy groove, at least. The groove is quite heavy on this one. But then Fields, he starts crooning again instead of cutting loose. He doesn't bring forth the metal screams. Average chorus on this one, goes nowhere. Song is unfortunately pretty boring. I mean, it's doesn't really go anywhere. It's barely okay, so another 5 out of 10. Track 13 is Ronnie. In the past I remember not liking this one at all. This is like a blues based groove song. I didn't like it now. I didn't like it in 1996 and I don't like it now. And maybe I like it even less now than I did then. It's slow. I'm with blues songs. I'm not a huge blues fan. If you like blues, yeah, you might like this song, but it's just not my cup of tea. I could only give it a 4 out of 10, I'm afraid. And we reached the final song of Load, the Outlaw Torn. This is the longest track on the album. The familiar, slow and dirgy start. You know, everything is a slog on this album. You know, where's the energy? Like, there's no hardly any fast riffs at all. You know, they couldn't muster even one decent fast riff for the last hurrah on this album. You know, it's got this familiar, slow, dirgy sound. It's far too long as well. I mean, it's really quite tiresome for me to sit through. But I sat through till the last second. I sat through this. I promise you. I forced myself, but I couldn't give it much more than a 4 out of 10. So there you have it. My full ranking. Load is 25 years old. It really hasn't stood the test of time. You know, if this was released by a different band, like a blues rock, heavy rock band, yeah, you could say it's a good album, or you can accept it. There's some good melodies on it from Hetfield. There's the odd good riff, but you know, mainly the odd good solo as well. Yeah, I mean, I should mention Kirk Hammett's solos. The odd good one. You know, more melodic than usual because they're not playing, you know, thrash or fast heavy metal. They don't need to have like lots of notes on the solos. They can just be a bit more melodic, a bit slower, and he does a good job. Anyway, I totted up the average for this one, and my average for this album comes out at 5.46 out of 10. So just over, a smidgen over the halfway mark. So if you round that down, it's a 5 out of 10. I mean, I've seen people give this 1 out of 10, so I've been quite generous. I didn't want to, you know, completely trash this. So you know, I've seen people give it 6 and 7s, but any higher than that, and you'll just be kidding yourself. So here it is, 5.46. Load, Metallica is 25. Okay, stay tuned.